Hey everyone, this is Chase with InsurGrid. I'm here with Josh Stirling on a InsurGrid Industry Insight. So Josh, you've had quite a career in the insurance space. So how about, love just to learn more about kind of your history in the space and all that you've done.
Um, Look, I've had the great fortune to work with a lot of interesting people at some awesome companies over the past 20 years or so. I started at Progressive. I worked in their pricing group and did internet stuff or in the early 2000s, which was really a very exciting time to be at the company. I then had the opportunity to work at a couple of other more interesting insurance companies in a different way, sort of more turnarounds and regionals, and work more in the agency channel because I'd previously been a direct guy. I then had the really unique opportunity to go to Wall Street. I got recruited to be the lead analyst at a company that was looking for an insurance expert to cover insurance stocks and help institutional investors understand, whether they want to buy like childbirth travelers and various other things like that. And so, I always sort of used to joke. I traveled around talking to thousands of investors for years. And my joke was I saw the world's nicest conference rooms all over the world. But my heart was still sort of in like insurance. And so I really wanted to get back in the insurance industry. And I also wanted to do some more entrepreneurial stuff. And so for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been working, in a lot of different ways in the insurtech industry, trying to partner up and, in some cases invest in some cases be an advisor to, some of the people who are really excited about being this transformative wave of change that's washing across the industry, and that I think is making the industry better, for companies, for consumers, and for agents. It's probably true that the old agency model is facing a lot of challenges, right? I mean, some of the big carriers are cutting commissions on renewal books. I mean, it's a difficult time to be an agency if you're thinking really big picture, but there are massive opportunities because the reality is most consumers actually want a lot of advice. But they also want a digital experience, especially at the front end. They want to be able to do something with an app, and they want to be able to go on the web. And most people aren't walking, into the strip mall anymore to get insurance. And so agents are being forced, the ones that want to continue to grow their book and sort of really meet their customers where they are, they have to learn the practices that used to be dominated by direct insurance companies or internet companies and stuff like that. But the opportunity is really great because so many consumers, surveys all are over the place, but, it's probably something like half of Americans that really want the assistance of an agent who, to really sort of help them understand how to protect their home, how to protect their family, how to think about comparing apples to apples quotes and getting the coverage they need. Most people don't get really great advice on coverage, and they don't have any idea how to buy insurance except for to call the cheap, call and choose on price. But the reality is most people actually, maybe not most, but a lot of people really need that advice. And agents are really the only ones really well positioned to be that valued advisor. And so this is why, for 30 or 40 years, people have been saying agencies were going away. And, they haven't gone away because there really is a lot of value there. But, the internet is definitely a threat, but it's an opportunity. And that I think is exciting about what you and Charles and the rest of the team at InsurGrid are building. I think the most important is I think it's really good for consumers. When I first tried the InsurGrid link, and I could see how quickly you could pull down my policy from another carrier so that an agent can then quote up my policy and give me a fast quote that's accurate, that figures out my coverage gaps and helps me understand where I can save money and where I need to get more coverage. I was kind of amazed because that, if you think about things like a technology person, you're always looking for how do I delight my consumers? How do product wins, the consumer user experience is what really matters in the long run. This is a delightful experience. It is a shocking surprise to be able to get something like this from an insurance agency of all places, right? It feels something more like you would be able to get from an Amazon or some big web company. And so when I think about, first principles, I think what you guys do is great for the consumers. And I think it's awesome as a tool for the agent because it delights the consumer. But then obviously, brass tacks, it saves time for the agent. It helps them do a much better job and focus on advising their clients and not just keying information in and doing all the sort of the phone chasing for the basics to figure out what, how many drivers you want to put on the quote. And then also like, look, like anything in the internet, faster and easier leads to higher conversion rates and higher sales. And so, the examples you're having that you keep showing on your YouTube channels of like your customers that are actually like crushing it with more sales by using this link, like that's really validating. And I think it sort of proves back to that original thing, which is that people want advice from agents, but they don't use the phone book anymore, and they don't walk into agencies anymore. What they want to do is be on the web. And so what agents need is a really slick front end that helps the customer have a digital front experience, but then tees them up for that like advisory conversation with the agent. And I think agents are great at advisory. And I think tech companies are really good at marketing automation and streamlining a funnel to bring those customers to get the advice they need. And that's where I think you guys can really help. I've got friends all over the industry, and some of them live at direct companies and some of them live at agency companies. And so neither of them will like this. But the reality is there's different channels for different customers. Direct's never going to be 100%. Internet's never going to be 100%. Agency's not going to be 100%. 50 years ago, agency might have been 70%. In homeowners insurance, maybe it's still 80 or 90%. It's not going to stay at that level unless agents take the technology that's been pioneered by internet companies and direct companies and then use it to like drive basically more sophisticated digital marketing deeply into their own channels, so they can sort of do, people overuse this, but like the best of both kind of strategy, the best of local, the best of human with the digital front end. I think that ultimately creates a really valuable customer experience. And, typically, not always, but typically the kinds of customers that resonates for, those are by far the most valuable customers, in the entire insurance industry. Two cars, a home, a boat, a motorcycle. They want the umbrella. Maybe they got a couple of life policies too. Like the sweet spot of what agents and carriers and the internet companies all want are the people who want advice, because they've got a lot of needs and they're not sure how to meet them. But in today's world, even like people who are like traditionally like not like internet people, everybody's on the internet. It's a past, right? So we need to have more agency adoption of like modern technology. But I think in the end of the day, the agents who do adopt the technology, who can use it to pivot their own businesses and basically be the tip of the spear, and bring back and just basically get more at bats and deeper, more meaningful consumer connections, with the customers they have. I think they're in an awesome position, as an industry and as individual entrepreneurs too. I think it's a great place to be.